Hi guys, hope you're well. I've had a bit of a cold, so my skin and me in general, I've been feeling a bit bleh. So it's the only way to describe it really. So I thought, why not cheer myself up by finally getting to do a bit of a tutorial on the Illamasqua Sacred Hour collection. Now, I haven't got all the pieces from the collection, and well, I just thought best thing for me to do is to use whatever I have from the collection and collaborate it with other products from Illamasqua, as well as other products that I like to use in general anyway. And what I'm going to do is create a day look and then transform it into an evening look so you can carry it out throughout the whole day. So let's just do it. By the way, I'm going to do a separate video, or it might have already been on, depending on when you're seeing this video, on all the products that I'm going to be using today for this look, and just giving you a bit of a review on them. This is just purely to do a tutorial on using the products. So as I said before, let's do it. First, I'm going to start off with my Illamasqua Hydrovel hydrating gel. And I'm going to use that to moisturise my face. So I'll take a little bit. You can use your fingers for this, but as I have so many lovely tools, I'm going to use my Real Techniques buffing brush to just buff it onto my face. Now what I'm going to use is my Illamasqua cream pigment Emerge. Yes, Emerge. As you can see, it's like a peachy sort of tone, and I'm going to use that to cover any sort of dark areas on my face. So just under the eyes, behind the nostrils, and as most Asians have it, just a dark area near your chin. Lucky us. I know Illamasqua have come out with the Skin Lift, which I need to get my hands on, but the colour that I wanted wasn't in stock. So once I've got my hands on that, I can do a tutorial on that for you. Next, I'm going to use my Illamasqua Skin Base in Pt1, and I'm going to use my buffing brush again to just put that all over my face. You might see my recent video using a beauty sponge to apply this. It is great. I just thought, just for this video, I'll just use my buffing brush, as I love it so much. Right, now what I'm going to use is a pure pigment again. Pure pigment? No, cream pigment, Sangeeta, cream pigment. In Hollow by Illamasqua. It's just a neutral beigey sort of colour, so I'm going to use that on the base of my eyes. Now, it is optional for you to do this. The reason why I'm doing this is because I've had a few people on Facebook message me, and on Twitter as well, messaging me saying, how do you use the palette without it creasing on your eyes, because obviously some people do get creasage on their eyes as well. So I did think that it would be best for them to have some sort of like a base on their eyes, like a primer of sorts, and the cream pigment is great for that. So I'm just going to use my fingers and just do a wash of colour over my eyes. And whatever's remaining on your finger, just take it up to your brow bone. So you're not putting too much of the pigment onto your brow bone. It's just giving you that little bit of coverage just for your eyeshadow. Now we're going to get into it. The palette, it's brilliant. So what I'm going to do is start off with this colour here, this coppery colour here, and that is, if I am correct, that is Acute. And what I'm going to do with that is just use my fingers really, because I don't know if anyone's felt the texture before, but it's really quite soft and it does quite move. Now, I would sometimes do my foundation after I've done my eye makeup just because of fallout, but because this product is so creamy and it's just quite compact in the sense that it doesn't, like, if you did dip your finger in it or did put a brush in it, it doesn't quite have any fallout or anything. It's quite easy to put on. It's not a cream eyeshadow, but it's not a powder eyeshadow. It's really strange. You've got to have a good play with it just to understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this being a strange sort of texture. So using this coppery sort of colour, I'm just going to dab that and just take that across my eyelid, just going from the inner all the way to the outer corners. You don't have to be super neat. I've gone in with a bit of this coppery colour in Dart, and I've gone all over my eyelids, and I'm just going to add a little bit more just to emphasise that beautiful coppery colour. And as you can see, I'm going in with my fingers, but you can use a brush if you like. But it's so easy to blend, there's no need to really use a brush. So just blending that across my eyes. Now I'm just going to go into this brownie sort of colour just here, and that colour is called Acute. So just dabbing my fingers in Acute and just pressing that on the outer corners of my eye, but taking it a third of the way in. At this point you can probably get your 224 brush and start blending that out a little bit, just to soften the edges. And that actually helps take the colour up towards your brow bone as well. I'm going to go into this goldy creamy colour and I'm going to add that into my brow bone area and just highlight slightly in the inner corners of my eyes, but I'm going to go in straight with my brush because I just want this to be just a hint of colour, not overpowering colour. And I'm just going to use my finger just to take it into the inners. And just blend it out slightly. Now with my Real Techniques detailer brush, I'm going to go into this grey colour here and I'm just going to line my eyes near my lash line, but not taking it all the way in, just probably halfway on both sides, and then blending that out slightly because we want to keep it really nice and soft. Now for the brows, I'm going to use the Sleek Brow Kit in dark, and these are the colours that you get, and I'm just going to fill in any gaps in my eyebrows, just to give it that little bit of definition. Just run a spoolie through it just to comb it out a bit. Now what I'm going to use is the Illamasqua brow and lash gel just to keep my brows in place, because as a lot of you may know, my brows don't like to stay in place. Is move on to the cheeks, and first I'm going to use the Illamasqua Skin Base in AU. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but otherwise it'd be ooh. So this is great because I can use it as a sort of like a semi-contour in a sense. So I'm just going to take a drop of that, and using my Real Techniques buffing brush. No, actually no, I lie. It's my Real Techniques contour brush. I'm just going to dab that in to my product and just work underneath my cheekbones just to give me that little bit of lift, but I'm not using too much because I still want to keep this quite a day sort of look. Now what I'm going to use is the Illamasqua Velvet Blusher in Peaked, and this is a beautiful pink colour. And I don't know if you know much about the velvet blushes, but they're not quite cream and they're not quite matte. They're an unusual texture, again like the eyeshadows, but not the same texture as the eyeshadows. So I'm going to use my fingers to apply this onto my cheeks, and then I'm going to just use my brush just to blend it in slightly. As you can see, you don't really need much because the product is highly pigmented anyway. So I'm actually going to use my buffing brush. That'd probably help. Next, I'm going to use a highlighter on top of my cheeks, and I've chosen Illamasqua's Gleam in Aurora, and this is a beautiful product because I'm using like a sort of like a creamy sort of velvety blush. I just thought a cream product would probably be best. So again, I'm going to use my fingers to actually dab this onto my cheeks, well on the top of my cheeks, just to create that sort of highlight sort of look. Just blend it in slightly and just pat it in. Now I'm just going to put some mascara onto my eyes before I move on to my lips, and I'm going to use my favourite mascara by Estee Lauder, and this is the Double Wear Zero Smudge Curling Mascara. Amazing. I seem to use the word amazing a lot, but I do find these products amazing. So I'm just going to coat my lashes. See that curl? Amazing. Now for the lips, I've decided to go for something quite light because I want to use darker colour when I'm doing the evening sort of look. So the colours that I've opted for are, again, Illamasqua products. Did you guess? Right, it's Illamasqua Sheer Lip Gloss in Divine and Illamasqua Sheer Lip Gloss in, I think it's Provoke. It's kind of like rubbed off a little bit, but I'm more than certain it's Provoke. I love mixing these two together because they make a beautiful, beautiful colour. So I'm just going to put this on my lips. And add a dab of Provoke. Now I just added it in the centre of my lips because I just want that colour to kind of stay there a bit. So it makes the centre slightly a nudie colour. The tips on these lip glosses are great, so you can use it to blend it in really nicely. And there you have it. This is your day look using the Illamasqua Sacred Hour palette and the blush. And now what we're going to do is use the palette again and transform it into an evening look.